Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you joining me here this evening. Tonight, I was just thinking about this. I believe it was Saturday night, and I was thinking about, what topic should I go over? And there was a couple of posts that I saw on Facebook, and I said, that's it. I'm going to talk about sale price versus real price because I see that a lot. We run up against that a lot. So I want to make sure that you understand how some dealers are playing that game with you. And I want to go ahead and arm you with that information so that when you go ahead and get that question out of the way right up front. So appreciate you joining me, Donna. Glad you're here. And for anybody else that may be out there, maybe they have not commented yet, do appreciate you watching. And I hope the heck you get something out of it here this evening. So let me get started and kind of ask you, I'm going to ask a question and see what you think. Feel free to chime in at any given time if, in fact, you do have a question. So let's say that you're at a dealership and they tell you, hey, listen, here's your sale price. Now, a lot of times, and you might be able to figure some of this stuff out yourself when you're at a show. So let's say, and I'm just going to use that you're at a show, so it's a listed sale price on the unit. So you see that somebody has a sale price of $19,900. Now I'm just going to use this. These are all hypothetical, but everything works very much the same. Let's just say this is a travel trailer. It's over 5,000 pounds, and I'm going to be using Maryland tax, tag, and title to go ahead and complete the equation for you. So they're telling you their sale price is $19,900. Now, then you come over and you see ours, and our sale price is $22,000. Now, of course, we've got tax, tag, and title on that to go, right? So on this one, now you're paying the tax on the $19,900, the 6% sales tax. So that's $1,194. Now for your tag and title, it's $304. So your total here is $21,398. Now that's just, I'll say that's a subtotal, right? Now let's take a look at the total on this side. So you're going to go ahead, now the tax is going to be higher because obviously the sale price is a little bit higher. So you're $1,320 plus the $304. So this has a price of $23,628. Now a lot of people look at that and say, Paul, this one's cheaper than that one. But see, here's the game a lot of these places that they'll do is they'll tell you, hey, listen, these people, they have hidden fees because they're not disclosing them. We disclose our fees, and that way there you don't pay taxes on them. So that's why we go ahead and do it this way. That's the little game that they play with you. And so here's what they're going to do. They're going to say, listen, you've got to pay for the freight for it to getting here, and you've got to pay for prepping it for us to prep it. Sometimes they'll even charge you an additional fee for them to show you through how everything works. So they'll add this on here. Let's say in this case, it's $2,200 for what they call freight and prep. So this is freight and prep, F&P. Then I'm sure you've all seen the documentation fee that they'll have. So what you have is now your total here is $23,898. So which one works out to be the better deal? This is something you need to watch for because it's a game that's played every single day. And I'll tell you, I've seen all kinds of fees. I've seen people add fees for, something about elected officials fees, emergency alerts. I mean, they have all these different fees. And the funny thing is that when you see these sales orders from different people, these fees will be different for everybody. So what game are they playing? They're just trying to see how much they can get out of you. And it's all pure profit for them. So that's something you need to realize when somebody's not playing that game, they're going to go ahead and disclose and give you the actual figures up front. Does anybody have any questions on how this works? Has anybody had somebody play that game with you? Johnny, appreciate you showing up here this evening. Math, I'm hoping you're liking math. I'm just showing you how some of the things are working here. Donnie, you grasping what I'm putting down here? I think I've worked some numbers for you before on a unit, just to kind of give you an idea. So that is how that works. So now what I want to do is I want to kind of go over, let's go ahead and add something else to the equation here. Because this is another thing where a lot of people get confused. Let's say that you have a trade now, okay? And it doesn't matter how things are done. A lot of people don't understand is when they have a trade and they owe money on it, how that equation works. And I'm going to show you how that goes down. When you're looking at a trade number, what you have to work on if you're comparing dealers is what we call the difference number. It's basically going to be the cost of the new unit subtracted from your trade gives you the difference. So I'm just going to use some hypothetical numbers here because I run into this a lot of times. And by the way, if you do your homework, by the way, I did a showing you kind of what your value of your trade was. I did something with Randy's Adventures. If you want to check that out, I tried to go over some things for that to give people an understanding on how to get an idea of what their trade was worth. I see we have Todd's here this evening. And Todd, that's great that you asked for out the door price. Sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a dealer over the phone, sometimes they won't even include it there. They wait until you get there before they spring that upon you. So make sure you check that out. I have seen some customers that I have dealt with get kind of jumped when they get surprised when they show up at the dealership thinking they're going to be paying one price. And, you've driven all this distance. They're figuring, well, you told your family, you told your neighbors and all these people you're going to go buy this RV. Like you're driving 200-300 miles to come get this RV. A lot of times these dealers feel they can play games with you because you're going to go ahead and give in. Now, they might give up some of the addition that they're adding to that, take a little bit less, but they're still going to try and get you. So, but let's talk about how it works with trades. Let's say that I'm just going to use hypothetical numbers again. Let's say that you're buying an RV for $30,000, and let's say that they're giving you $10,000 for your trade. So you're at a $20,000 difference. Okay. Now let me ask you this question: if you're over at another dealer buying the same unit, okay, and they tell you that they're giving you $7,000 for their trade, do you feel that's going to be worth it for you to go ahead and do it that way? Or do you feel that, oh, no, they got to be giving you $10,000 for your trade? Lindsay, I appreciate the question on that. The best way to do it is just ask them right up front. When they go to give you a number, say, look, is this the total number? Am I just paying tax, tag, and title on top of that? Or are you going to be charging me additional fees? And don't just name different fees because some of these dealers might be charging additional. Just ask, are there any additional fees? And if there are, what are they? Some of them pretty slick on how they go about doing that. So anyway, so somebody here is telling you they're going to give you $7,000 for your trade. A lot of people balk at this, but what they fail to do is look at the bottom number, because you could be at another dealer and instead they're going to go ahead and, I'm just using, again, hypothetical numbers. They're selling you this for $25,000. So you're an $18,000 difference. meaning that if you don't owe anything on your trade, you're paying $18,000 plus your tax tag and title. So, and I've had people that have told me, oh, no, you're not giving me enough for my trade. The other dealer was giving me more for the trade. And we break it down this way and we show them, well, no, they're just inflating this number here, the selling price. That's a big deal. So understand always, if you're going to be trading something, understand what the difference number is. Now you can go to NADA and kind of get an idea of what retail book is. If you go to NADA, they're going to show you a low retail and an average retail. Understand that if a dealer is showing you a number in between there, they're not coming off of their retail price very much, because what they're doing is they're overcharging you for the RV to show you more for your trade. They're basically giving you a retail to retail number. Understand that if you owe money on your trade, let's say that you owed $15,000 on your trade. When they write up the contract for the bank, banks do not like to see negative numbers. So what will happen is, if that were the case, you're going to end up at the same number. And I'm just going to use hypotheticals here. I'm just going to say that you're at $20,000 was your difference number. If you owe 15, what they're going to do is they're going to show you $15,000 or more for your trade. So that means the sale price is higher. It all works out the same. Now, fortunately, in some states, it works out okay for you because you're still paying your tax, your sales tax on the actual difference number. Unfortunately, for those folks that live in Virginia, this is where it penalizes you because you pay your 4.15% on your selling price. They do not give you a break for your trade value. So that not only do they get you up front, they get you every year when you pay your 1 or 1.5% personal property tax. Fortunately, here in Maryland and PA, we don't have that issue. Some states, I believe it's West Virginia, they do allow you to pay the difference, pay it on the difference price, but I still think you have a personal property tax there. Does anybody else have any questions on how this stuff works here? Do you understand how the game can be played with your trade? Like I say, I do appreciate you showing up here this evening. I hope that I've broken it down for you to make it simplified for you. I don't know if anybody's ever told you how this stuff works before. And by the way, so if you're at a $20,000 difference and you owed 15 on yours, understand that you're going to pay your tax on top of here, and then you're going to be adding the 15 back into it. So understand that, and then chances are you're going to end up having to put additional money down if you have some negative equity with that. So again, I'm just trying to give you some ammo so that when you go and sit down with a dealer, you understand the terminology that they're using and you're educated so they're not snowballing. So again, I'm in this with you. I work for my customers. I constantly get told by my managers, go work the customer. You know, and I say, no, I work for my customers, and that's why I go ahead and beat up on them. So do appreciate you watching here, and I appreciate the comments. Like I say, if you wanted to reach out to me personally, my contact information is down below. Be more than happy to talk to you one-on-one or even email back and forth. Does anybody have any closing comments that they would like to make prior to signing off here this evening? Well, that's good there, Todd. Glad to hear that. And that's one other comment I want to make, though, too. I know Todd had mentioned that he saved himself $1,500 by going from somewhere. I've had people before think that they were saving themselves money going to another dealer. And in hindsight, after they've seen the issues that they've had, because one thing you want to look at, ladies and gentlemen, is the service center and how well you're going to be able to be serviced after the fact. Because the fact is, unfortunately, in the RV industry, RV dealers are not necessarily required to service you if they were not the selling dealer. Now, there are some manufacturers that they have to, but for the most part, They don't have to. And the other thing is you're not going to be given the priority over their current customers. So understand that. So I know I've lost customers before, and they've come back for the next time because they felt that the money that they saved by going somewhere, it wasn't worth the hassle in the long run. So sometimes, again, your best price isn't always your best deal. So again, I do appreciate you watching, and I'll be coming back up again tomorrow night at 7, and I'll be announcing the topic tomorrow afternoon. If there's something in particular that you would like me to review with you or go over, if there's something, how to, whatever, feel free to reach out to me and I'll see what I could do. Again, thank you, and I'll be coming back at you again tomorrow evening. Take care.